Steelers Nation, we are live here in Dallas, Texas, here in Chat Sports Studios. My name is Jack Sperry. I will be your host today. I am joined by the lovely Jeremy Chuggs. He will be our producer for today's live show. Chuggs, say hi to all the Yinzers out there in Steeler Nation.
First Steelers live. It's good to be here. It's great to be here.
It's great to be here.
It's great to be here.
Great to be here.
And it's a great day to be alive. You know, the Steelers rumors fly when I close my eyes. Let's go.
You're a clown, Chuggs. All right. Hey, Chuggs, do you know what a Yinzer is?
I actually do not. I was born and raised in Houston, Texas. I do not know what a Yinzer is.
A Yinzer is someone that is referred to as someone from Pittsburgh, more specifically a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. And the reason why it's Yins is because down here in Texas we say y'all, but down in Pittsburgh, PA, they say Yins.
So Austin Butler, let's go. We got a Yinzer.
Let's go.
We got a Yinzer.
We got one in there. Let's get those Yinzers in the chat, Steelers fans. Get those Yinzers in there. If you are a true Yinzer, you bleed black and gold. You love the Steelers, type Yinzer in the chat for me right now. Before we get things going on the show today, I want to give some love to some people that really are friends of the show here. They do a fantastic job. They turned on notifications, and they're always really, really quick to go into the comment section. Give us some comments. So I want to give some love to the Noti Gang. Here is what we're going to call it, Steelers Noti Gang. And here are some of the best friends of the show here. These are the first 5 people that commented on the show yesterday. So I want to give some love to I Love Steelers, Twin Dragon 56. He's one of the first ones on every single show. I appreciate you, Twin Dragon. Jermaine Green, Big Al 57, and Miggy Clark. I really appreciate you guys.
The Yinzers are flowing. We got Josh, Scott Sinclair, Dominic Scott, Dominic Schrader, Robert James, King Ali, Chuck Dugan. Let's see.
John McKee. What's up, John? Austin Butler. Let's go, fellas. Let's go. Yinzers for life. Let's go, Steelers fans. Let's get the show on the road, man.
What a better start than Super Bowl week for the first live show. I need to get the pulse of where all the Steelers Talk fans are at right now.
Where are we at right now, Steeler Nation? Are we thinking Kansas City or are we thinking Philadelphia in this Sunday's Super Bowl? I think it's going to be a great game.
I think it'll be a really good one. I think even though both high-powered offenses, I don't think it'll be as high-scoring as everybody thinks. I think my prediction, 24-20 Philadelphia.
That's interesting. Why do you think it's going to be lower scoring?
I don't know. I just feel like Patrick Mahomes' mobility, the Eagles' defense is going to play very well, and I think Kansas City is going to try to take away what the Eagles do well. They're not going to let them have a lot of deep shots down the field. And I think it could be a little bit of a struggle on offense just because everybody's saying, over.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks it's going to be an offensive explosion. I think it might be the opposite. I think it might be a defensive battle here in the Super Bowl.
I think it's interesting because, like you said, Patrick Mahomes probably not going to be 100%.
Yeah.
And, Philly's defense is legit. They got maybe the best defensive line, front 7 in the National Football League.
Patrick Mahomes is hurt, and we've never seen Jalen Hurts at this stage.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. What I will say, though, is that this Kansas City team, they just have a certain feel about them. Patrick Mahomes, great players and great teams, they find a way to win. So even though I think Philadelphia on paper should absolutely win this football game, something tells me that Patrick Mahomes is going to give us a legendary Super Bowl performance. I'm going to go KC for my pick, but let me know your pick down in the chat right now. Let's see what people are saying in the chat.
A lot of Philadelphia.
Lots of Philly. Lots of Philly.
Everybody going for Philadelphia. We got Scott Sinclair, Noah, Motoroglu.
I got it. Mark Davison's going Philly. Yeah. King Ali's going Kansas City. Chuck Dugan's going Philly. Matt Hyde's going Philly, 34-24. Austin Butler's going Philly. The defense is too good. Dominic Schrader's going KC. Josh Bittinger's going Philly by 12. Dylan Jones, Philly. Ali the Reaper, Kansas City. And then Dominic's like, don't doubt Mahomes. I mean, yeah, he's kind of got that Brady kind of feel. He's 10-3 in the postseason in his career. Very, very tough to beat the Kansas City Chiefs.
Very tough. Very tough. And that's what I'm saying. I don't know if it'll be a high-scoring affair. I'm kind of leaning on the Eagles' defense showing up somewhat We got to hurt Patrick Mahomes, and you also have to think 2 of the top receivers besides Marquez Valdez-Scantling are injured for the Chiefs coming into this game. Juju hurt in that AFC Championship game.
That's right.
Kadarius Toney also hurt. So I think the Eagles are really going to take away Travis Kelce. I don't know if Marquez Valdez-Scantling can have another insane game like he did against Darius Slay.
Yeah, we'll see. I think my official prediction here is going to be 31 to 24 Kansas City. What
he said Juju redemption arc.
Yeah, give me a break with the Juju redemption arc here, Dominic. I mean,
that's good.
I mean, I don't want Juju to win, but I think the Chiefs will win.
Okay, and obviously, this is a Steelers channel. We got to bring the Steelers into this.
That's right.
I have a really interesting question for you, Jack.
All right.
Will the Steelers be playing in a Super Bowl in the next 5 years? Look into those crystal balls of yours.
You know, I know this is Steelers channel. It might seem like I'm a homer, but I believe in Omar Khan, Mike Tomlin, Kenny Pickett, and crew. Even though the AFC is freaking loaded right now with all these great quarterbacks, I think the Steelers, if they can really put together a couple of good off seasons and Kenny Pickett develops the way that we want him to develop, I think that the Steelers have at least a shot at making a Super Bowl in the next 5 years.
Hogan said less than 3.
Less than 3, man. I mean, Kenny Pickett, we've seen some of these big time year 2 jumps from some of these quarterbacks. If Kenny Pickett's that next guy, I mean, you got George Pickens, you got Najee Harris, you got a great
Pickens
defense.
Is a dog.
He's so good. George Pickens is my favorite Steelers player right now, personally. Like, I love TJ Watt. I love Minkah Fitzpatrick. I love all these different guys. I love Cam. But George Pickens, the kinds of catches that guy can make. I mean, like the bending over backwards, one-handed catch he had against the Browns was one of the best catches I've ever seen.
We should have known in training camp. He made a couple insane catches.
Yes, he did.
Remember that one over, was it over Arthur Mollett?
Yep.
That was.
And Mollett's kind of tiny, but I mean, still.
Yeah,
I mean, he's like going over people.
They're in the NFL. Moss and guys, not Webb's World. So I see people asking questions, saying things in the comment section. It's funny that y'all are doing that already because I have something for you. Not Webb's World, Matt Hyde, everybody that's putting questions in the comments, put hashtag Steelers in your question, and you're going to be coming up on our mailbag later in the show where Jack answers all your Steelers questions. Use hashtag Steelers in the comment section. That way I can pull it up, bring it up on screen, and Jack, you can see his pretty face answer all your questions.
Yeah, I'm not that pretty, but you can also super chat if you want. If you want to skip the line, guarantee your question gets on today's mailbag. You can go ahead and super chat, or you could just go hashtag Steelers, whichever one you want. But the way I would describe it, it's like you're at a nightclub, right? You go with your boys. Hashtag Steelers is like just waiting in the line, right? Just maybe you get in, maybe you don't. We'll
super
see.
Chat's like you got 2 really hot girls on each shoulder.
Yes.
You're getting in the club immediately.
Yeah, you're getting in the club immediately. If you give us a super chat, we would really appreciate all the super chats.
You could be the first super chatter on our live show.
That's right.
We've never had a super chatter before.
Who's going to be that first super chatter, man? That's a distinct honor. That's a distinct honor.
It's like we're at the pool party and nobody's in the pool yet. Who's going to do the cannonball?
Who's going to jump in first?
Who's
Come on
do
now.
the cannonball?
Let's get this party started now, Steeler Nation. Come on now.
And we actually have a pretty loaded show for you today, guys.
Yeah, we do.
We have the latest Steelers news and rumors. J.J. Watt talking about Pittsburgh, talking about the Steelers.
Got some trade rumors, some spicy trade rumors coming up. Very juicy. And then we also got, I got my next Steelers offseason plan coming up here, guys. You guys really enjoyed my first offseason plan. I'm going to revamp it for 2.0 because we've learned a couple things since then. And then, of course, we're going to be doing a Steelers mailbag coming up. Make sure to use hashtag Steelers along with your question or super chat to get on today's mailbag.
Mark, you got to put hashtag Steelers in that question so I can get it up on the show.
Yeah,
everybody,
get those hashtag Steelers in. Hashtag Steelers. Okay. All right, Chugs, where are we going to next? So we have a special promotion on the show today. I see that we have 16 likes on the video right now, which is pretty good. But if we get to 100 today, we will bring out the Terry Bradshaw bald cap, and Jeremy Chugs is going to wear it for the rest of the video. Did we get one? Oh, Michigan fight.
We got 2.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Michigan Football Report with James Yoder is officially the first super chatter on Steelers Talk. But But Dominic, thank you so much for the $2 one as well. I really do appreciate it. Michigan Football Report with James Yoder. Thanks for that first $1 donation. I appreciate it. And then Dominic says, can't wait to watch Darnell Wright dominate at tackle. I really like Darnell Wright.
And you know what, Dominic? You're going to be the first question on our first Steelers Live mailbag.
That's right. Appreciate you, Dominic. You are a friend of the show. You're always in the comments section. You're always supporting the channel. Really appreciate you, dude. And as for Darnell Wright, I really like him too. But we'll get to that when this question comes up on the mailbag.
Like Sperry said, I've got the Bradshaw bald cap ready to go.
It's locked and loaded.
We got 110 people watching. We can get to 100 likes and I can wear it to start the show. I just got a fresh cut. I don't know if you noticed, Sperry.
I noticed.
Looking crispy. I'm going to go ahead and put that Terry Bradshaw bald cap on once we get to 100 likes. We got 113 people watching. I think we can do it.
Hey, guys. All right, this is what I'll say. If you love the Baltimore Ravens, the Cincinnati Bengals, and the Cleveland Browns, don't like the video. All right, don't like the video if you love the Ravens, Bengals, and Browns. All right, but if you like the Steelers, all right, if you are a true Yinzer, go ahead and click that like button. Click that like button
And the subscribe button.
Button. Why not hit both, please?
Just go down there, bop bop.
That's right. That's right, my guy.
Oh God.
Okay.
All right, just a reminder. Here's what we have coming up on today's show.
Yeah, we got Steelers rumors. We got Bleacher Report came out with 3 new Steelers trade rumors that are going to be they're really juicy, Jeremy. They're really juicy.
Very juicy.
Little teaser here. There's a certain person named Josh Allen on today's rumors list. We will be getting into that coming up here on the show. We also have my 2.0 version of the Steelers offseason plan. You guys love the 1.0 version that I put out a couple of weeks ago, so I figured why not bring out a new one to christen the Steelers Talk Live channel here.
Love it.
And then finally, well, actually it'll be our second segment today, but the Steelers Talk mailbag where I'm going to be answering your questions. Make sure to get hashtag Steelers in there or super chat to get your question on today's mailbag.
See, Tom McCahill, you have some great questions in here. You have some great comments. Throw hashtag Steelers in there.
Yeah,
get up on the
hashtag
show.
Steelers, guys. If you want to get that question on the mailbag, throw hashtag Steelers on there. All right, we'll be getting to your questions. If you want to guarantee it on the show, go ahead. Bring those 2 beautiful babes on your arm at the nightclub and super chat the channel right
We
now.
already know Yoder's got one on each arm. Right there.
Yeah, he's got
right into the club.
Right into the club. Open up the red rope. All right, that bouncer is opening up right up.
Oh yeah, and I think with that, we're almost at 50 likes. We're halfway there.
We're halfway there, man. Already?
Oh, we're halfway there. Oh, living on a prayer. We're almost halfway there, but let's see. Oh, not Webb's World.
Let's go. Not Webb's World. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Are we going to bring this one up right now?
Yeah, we can bring it up before our first segment.
All right, we'll bring it up here. So Not Webb's World says, any chance Pittsburgh drafts Noah Sewell, I predict a slide. And he could slide, Not Webb's World, because he's a bit raw. And he's only 6'2", so he's not like this really massive, great talent, but he's a physical freak. He runs like a deer. He's a really good player.
And Not Webb's World, you'll be second in our first live Steelers mailbag. It's going to be Dominic Schrader, Not Webb's World 1.
Kicking us off.
You're going to be leading off our mailbag. If you want to join them to lead off our first ever Steelers Live mailbag. This is great. I mean, 128 people watching. This is an amazing first live show, Sperry.
Yeah, we're getting it going, man. We're not even to our first segment.
We told the bosses, we said, hey, Steelers is going to be the next big channel here at Chat Sports.
Yes, we are.
And y'all are the ones to help us prove that.
You know what? We didn't lose a single sub battle or like battle during the 2022 NFL season.
Facts.
Steelers Talk, the fans here, they deliver for us, man.
Oh, yeah.
Time and time again, you guys are the best fan base in the National Football League. You prove it time and time again. I got my Franco's Italian Army shirt on today. It's a special day. It's great vibes here in Dallas, Texas. I cannot wait to get the show going.
I'm going viral on Twitter. We got the first Steelers Live show here. We're having a great time.
Yeah, go check out Jeremy Beadling on Twitter right now.
Jeremy Chugs.
Jeremy Chugs on Twitter. Okay. You want to pull that up, the L3 there of your Twitter?
Do. I'll pull it up. Hold on 1 second.
So Jeremy's actually going viral on Twitter right now because he put up a video of a hockey fight in the stands at the Dallas Stars game last night, and it was absolutely nuts. You have to check it out. Go ahead and follow Jeremy Chugs on Twitter at Jeremy Chugs, 2 G's. And then also go follow me on Twitter at Jack_Sperry. It's going to be fantastic. I really do appreciate you guys for coming in here. It's going to be a great show.
Oh, God.
So, Jeremy, let's pull up that what's coming up here on the show. Look. Oh, it's already there. It's already there. Okay, so before we jump into our first segment here, our first segment is going to be some juicy Steelers rumors, some trade rumors coming from Bleacher Report. Going to be breaking that down, some J.J. Watt rumors. And then second, we're going to be doing that Steelers mailbag. Remember, hashtag Steelers along with your question or super chat to skip the line. And then finally, I'm going to be revealing my next version of the Steelers offseason plan, cut candidates, trade targets. We have someone getting extended, someone getting restructured. You're going to want to stick around, and then we're going to cap it off with that mock draft. It's going to be a great show. Let's jump right into it. Chugs, are you ready?
I'm ready. You ready?
I'm ready. Let's jump into the first segment here on Steelers Talk. What's going on, Steeler Nation? My name is Jack Sperry. Welcome into the show. We got a great slate of Steelers rumors to cover with you today. First, we're going to talk about J.J. Watt, how he said that he is all in Steeler Nation. We're going to be talking about that and what that might mean for his future. And then also, Bleacher Report came out with some trade targets for the Steelers to go pursue this offseason, breaking down that list and my thoughts. And then finally, there's a new ESPN mock draft, and I'm going to react to that. So it says Reactio there. It's reaction. I'm going to be reacting to that mock draft. It's going to be a fantastic show, guys. Let's jump right into it here. But before we jump into it, these are the reasons why you subscribe, guys. We got Steelers videos every single day here on the channel. We got weekly live shows now. We're actually recording this during our first live show ever on Thursday. But every single Thursday we're gonna have a live show. So if you want weekly Steelers live shows, go ahead and subscribe. And then also we keep it as interactive as possible here on Steelers Talk. We do mailbags regularly. We get your voice on the show. The most interactive Steelers community on YouTube. And then also more subscribers equals more viewers. We're a company here at Chat Sports. We go where the money flows, right? And if we get more subscribers, that means more money. More money means more videos here for you to enjoy. And then also, lastly, it's 100% free, right? It doesn't cost you anything to join our community of fantastic Yinzers. Go ahead and click that subscribe button right now for daily Steelers news and rumors content. All right, so first let's talk about J.J. Watt and how he's joining Steelers Nation, but maybe not in the way that you are expecting. He went on the 412 podcast, and he went on to say that he's a Steelers fan. He's a big Steelers fan, and that he's all in on the Steelers. Before he entered the NFL, it's been known that J.J. Watt was a Packers fan, but now that both of his brothers are currently with the Steelers organization, he says that he is all in on the Pittsburgh Steelers, that he is a Steelers fan as he enters into retirement. And although I think it's still pretty unlikely that he ends up coming out of retirement because he made a whole slew of different appearances and all this great stuff, great content of him, saying his goodbyes. I think it'd be hard for him to come back to the NFL after that. But if he does decide to come back, I think it would be for the Steelers. I mean, he says himself that he is a Steelers fan. Both of his brothers play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He says he's all in on Yinzer culture right now. So go ahead and go and like this video right now to welcome the newest member of Steelers Nation, J.J. Watt. If for some reason, J.J., you're watching this video, I welcome you to Steelers Nation. You are now dubbed a Yinzer. So go ahead and like this video right now to welcome J.J. to Steeler Nation. So now let's get into some pretty juicy trade rumors going on here. Bleacher Report came up with 3 names to look out for in terms of trade targets for the Pittsburgh Steelers in the 2023 offseason. Their first name, boom, Josh Allen, the edge rusher out of Jacksonville. And to pair him up with T.J. Watt would be absolutely insane. This is what Joe Tanzi from Bleacher Report, who wrote the article, what he had to say. He says Jacksonville is $32 million over the salary cap per Spotrac, and it needs to shed some deals in the offseason. Allen is scheduled to make $10 million in 2023, and then he goes on to say Allen would be 1-year rental to start, but he could be inked to a longer-term deal to partner T.J. Watt in the pass rush. Pittsburgh could go after a young inside linebacker in the draft to fill in any potential gaps in the middle. Now, I really doubt that this happens, guys. I think the Steelers really like Alex Highsmith, and in order to make this deal happen, you almost certainly have to get rid of Alex Highsmith. Like, you have to trade him. If you're going to combine Josh Allen, who's slated to make double-digit $1 million, like 8-figure contract next year, along with T.J. Watt, who's the highest-paid edge rusher, it just doesn't make sense to have Alex Highsmith around, and I just don't think the Steelers are operating with that mindset. I think they want to keep Alex Highsmith around. Maybe if they want to get rid of him, maybe if they don't want to give him an extension, maybe they think about this. And dang, it would be scary to have Josh Allen on one side and T.J. Watt on the other. But I just don't see this scenario happening whatsoever. So go ahead and go into the comments section right now and tell me, who's a player that the Steelers should trade for in 2023? Let me know in the comments section right now. This is the pinned comment on today's video. So whenever you get an ad break here on the show, go ahead and go into the comments section, find that pinned comment. It'll be right there at the top, and give me a player that the Steelers should trade for. Next player on Bleacher Report's list was Donovan Smith, the offensive tackle from the Buccaneers. Smith has had some good years in the National Football League. He's been a solid left tackle for a while, but this year he definitely had a down year. This is what Joe Tansey had to say about the left tackle. Smith should be a trade candidate based solely on his contract, and then if you add his performance in, the Bucs could look to get rid of him and find a younger anchor to their offensive line. Then he goes on to say the Steelers could take the younger option as well, though, or through the draft, and that is probably the cheaper option, but they leave no stone unturned in the quest to protect Kenny Pickett, who was taken down 27 times in 13 starts in his rookie season. And obviously, getting taken down 27 times in 13 games is not ideal for your young quarterback, but I don't think that the Steelers should trade for an offensive tackle. I'm not even sure if they should sign one in free agency. Usually, if there is a good left tackle in the National Football League, the team does not get rid of them, right? The reason why that player hits the free agency market or gets traded is because he's got injury issues, he's getting old, the contract sucks. Like, there's a bunch of different reasons. And for me, guys, I just don't want to draft or not. I do want to draft, but I don't want to trade or sign an offensive tackle. I want to address that in the draft. So here is the offensive line depth chart as it currently stands for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think Chukwuma Okorafor is probably a cut candidate. It sounds like Mike Tomlin and Omar Khan like the interior of the offensive line right now, and I think Dan Moore Jr. is a prime candidate to move over to right tackle. I'm just not sure if he is a true left tackle in the National Football League. All right, guys, let's have a word from our sponsor today at BetUS, which is the sportsbook partner here at Chat Sports, and they're offering you guys a fantastic deal just in time for the Super Bowl, a 125% deposit bonus on deposits of $100 to $600 when you use promo code Steelers125 at chatsports.com/bet. Guys, it's Super Bowl week. It is the biggest game of the year, and you really need to take advantage of this opportunity, right? The Kansas City Chiefs, they're doing you can do a bunch of different prop bets at BetUS as well. You can bet on the color of the Gatorade. Personally, I think it's going to be red or pink. I'm taking the plus 500 there, trying to make some money. You could do anytime TD. Whenever a player scores a touchdown, right? You could bet on Travis Kelce at negative 155 odds to score a touchdown at any time. That's about as good of a bet as you can possibly make because he always scores a touchdown. All right, guys, BetUS, they do a fantastic job. They are my favorite sportsbook app and website. I really do appreciate everything that they do for the channel here. So go ahead and go to chatsports.com/bet and use Steelers125 to get that 125% deposit bonus. And the last name that Bleacher Report put on their trade targets for the Steelers was Hunter Renfrow, the wide receiver, the slot receiver from the Raiders. And this one kind of came out of left field for me because I'm like, are the Raiders really shopping Hunter Renfrow? But this is what Joe Tansey had to say about the slot receiver. Las Vegas is $17 million under the cap, but if someone like Aaron Rodgers were to come to the franchise, that number drops significantly because of Rodgers' large deal. Then he goes on to say Pittsburgh should be far from content with its wide receiver room, especially with Johnson coming off a season in which he caught 58.5% of his targets. Now, I think that Tainsey is kind of taking that number with DJ out of context. I think that there's some poorly thrown balls. I think that, yes, he does have some concentration drops, and he's not the best 50-50 ball or contested catch receiver, but he gets open more than just about anybody else in the league, and that's kind of Renfro's bag as well. He gets open a lot. He's a great route runner, not necessarily a great athlete, but he is a fantastic route runner. He always gets open, but I just don't think it's a realistic option. I think that he's in the Josh McDaniels offense, you need somebody like Renfro that can win those option routes early in the slot. I mean, you look at Wes Welker, you look at Julian Edelman. You need that slot guy to really accentuate that offense with Josh McDaniels. So I don't think Renfro is going to be up for sale. But let me know which player is most likely to be traded for by the Steelers. Type JA for Josh Allen, type DS for Donovan Smith, or type HR for Hunter Renfro. Personally, I don't think any of them are likely. I think probably the most likely is Donovan Smith, and I really don't want the Steelers to do that personally. But let me know in the chat right now what you guys would do. All right, so now let's react to a mock draft. ESPN brought out a mock draft with their draft analyst, Matt Miller. We reacted to a terrible CBS Sports mock draft the other day, but Matt Miller did a 3-round, or I think a 2-round mock draft, actually. And so the Steelers have 3 picks to choose from here. First one is really, really good. They take Christian Gonzalez, my number 1 cornerback in this year's NFL draft. I think he's going to be a top 10 pick. I just think when you combine his coverage ability with the ball skills that he added this past year, with the size, with the speed, with the short area quickness, he's so fluid and so smooth. He is one of the best cornerback prospects I've ever evaluated on tape, and I've been doing it for probably about 5 years now. I really like this kid. If he fell to 17 to the Steelers should absolutely grab him. This is a fantastic pick in this mock draft. And then in the second round, kind of an unconventional pick here, John Michael Schmitz, the center out of Minnesota. Now, I'm from Minnesota, and, you know, he's a good player. He's probably the best center in this draft class, but is this really a pressing need for the Pittsburgh Steelers? You could maybe make an argument. Mason Cole had a pretty darn good season in 2022, but, you know, over the course of his career, he hasn't really shown that he can be a consistent performer. So you could definitely say, go get an offensive center, someone that can play guard as well. John Michael Schmitz is one of the best interior offensive linemen in this year's draft class. So I don't hate the pick. I'm just wondering why he didn't go offensive tackle here. But, I mean, at the end of the day, he does have them taking Anton Harrison at 50th overall, which is pretty decent at number 50. I think at 50, Anton Harrison is a value. He is a good player. He needs to develop his play strength a little bit, but he's a fantastic athlete from the left tackle spot. He's somebody that needs to build up his frame just a little bit more. He's a big human. He just needs to get a little bit stronger, and his anchor needs to be a little bit better. But I really like him as a player. If you switch John Michael Schmitz and Anton Harrison in this mock draft, I probably wouldn't mind it either, but overall, not a bad mock from Miller, in my opinion. I think getting the number 1 corner in this year's draft class is absolutely a steal at number 17, and then you add 2 offensive linemen in round 2 that are really going to help solidify protecting Kenny Pickett for the years to come. So go ahead and go into the comment section right now and grade Matt Miller's mock draft on a scale of A, B, C, D, or F. For me, I'm going to give it about a B. It's pretty good. I would be happy if this actually happened for the Steelers, but it wasn't perfect in my opinion, so I will refrain from giving him an A. All right, Jeremy. Yeah, let's do some shout-outs here. Let's go with...
Yeah. Let's see what do y'all think about that mock draft.
Yeah, what do you guys think?
I can
grade that mock draft right now.
I can pull it back up for y'all really
Joe
quick.
Doe says F. All right, F.
Here's the mock draft right here. If y'all want to grade it, this was Matt Miller's mock draft. Christian Gonzalez, John Michael Schmitz, Anton Harrison. What do y'all think, A, B, C, D, or F? Let me know in the comment section. And
what'd you think?
I would give it a B-.
Yeah, that's what I would probably give it to.
Give it a B-. I mean, you didn't draft probably in the second round, you probably didn't draft best player available, in my opinion. I think you drafted for need more in this mock draft.
Like, I really like the first pick. The first pick is an A. Christian Gonzalez is my favorite cornerback in this year's draft class.
I wonder how the linebackers kind of fell in this, because I know the Steelers could use another linebacker.
They could.
I wonder how those fell if Drew Sanders, your guy Dalen Hayes, if they were already off the board. Because if they're still on the board at 32, I mean, Dalen Hayes, I know you love that kid.
I love Dalen Hayes. He's 6'2". He's great in pass coverage. I mean, he's a former receiver, so he understands the different lingo between quarterback and wide receiver. He's got great ball skills as a linebacker. I think he's going to be really, really good.
We also have some big news here.
What's up?
We are 25 likes away from hitting 100
likes.
From hitting 100 likes on our first live stream ever on Steelers Talk.
Guys, if we get 25 more likes here, we got 154 people watching right now. If we get to 100 likes, Jeremy Chuggs is going to wear a Terry Bradshaw bald cap for the rest of the show. All right, so I think this is perfectly worth it. It doesn't cost you anything to hit that like button. So go ahead, click that like button right now. And like I said at the beginning of the show, if you love the Bengals, if you love the Ravens, if you love the Browns, don't like the video today. But if you love the Steelers, go ahead and like that video right now.
Reverse psychology. It's climbing. We're at 84. We need 15 more.
Guys,
16 more likes.
16. That's all we need, guys. Come on, get those likes up right now so he can put on that ridiculous bald cap.
TWO, I'm out of school now, so now I'm here. Thank you for joining us, TWO.
Thanks, TWO, man. I appreciate you, my guy.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, dude.
And you came just in time, TWO, because we are doing our first ever live Steelers mailbag for Steelers
That's
Talk.
right. Get those questions in now, all right? Because we're about to do this mailbag.
Just a reminder, we have two people who have entered the VIP line. Dominic Schrader, not Webb's World 1, both getting their answers or their questions answered first.
Yep.
For their super chats. Thank you so much, guys, for donating to the show. If you just want to get your question in the comment section, don't have money to super chat, all good. We're here for everybody today. Use hashtag Steelers in the comment section in your question so I can get it up on screen. I've seen a couple people do it throughout the live show already. Start getting those questions in right now. I already have some people lined up in here. I see Young Noticeable has his questions in. Kyle Daughtry, Tom McCahill, Dominic Schrader, they all got questions in. Use hashtag Steelers in your comment to get your questions in, and we'll get you up here on the show. And we are 2 likes away.
We're 2 likes away, guys. Come on. We got just 2 more. Oh, come on. Who's going to be that 100th like? Who is it going to be? Come on.
Oh!
Did we get it?
We're there.
Let's go.
We're there.
We got, man, we hit the goal. Oh, my goodness, man. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, my goodness.
Let's go.
Let's go. Type "here we go" in the comments section right now. Look at that. We got Terry Bradshaw joining us live on the set here at Steelers Talk Live, man.
Let's go.
Terry, how you doing today?
I'm feeling great.
You're feeling great?
I'm feeling great.
Are those 4 Super Bowl rings pretty heavy on your hand?
Oh, yeah.
You're getting pretty old now.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm still a spry young fella.
You know, we actually have a crew down in Arizona for the Super Bowl this week, and one of our guys got to interview or look upon an interview of Terry Bradshaw.
We got the "here we goes" rolling in the chat.
Roll it in there. Type the "here we goes" in there, guys. Get those.
We go. Here we go.
Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Let's go. Get those "here we goes" in the chat. I want to talk a little bit about that mock draft and something I want to bring up as a point. Anton Harrison is a good player, and getting him at number 50 is a good value. The thing is that he still has a little ways to go before he can really hold up against the Myles Garretts of the world in the division.
Agreed.
Right? The Trey Hendersons, like the really strong bull rushers. Like you need somebody like a Broderick Jones or a Peter Skoronski or a Paris Johnson Jr., one of those big, thick, strong fellas. Pause. No, you need one of those bigger guys that are ready to play right away. You don't need somebody in there that still needs to put a little bit of juice to his frame. You need someone that's ready to play now. And although getting Anton at 50 is technically a good pick, a good value, I'm just not sure if it's great for the Steelers. I think they need to really try to focus in on offensive tackle there in the first round. And if not that, right at 32. get a Darnell Wright, like Dominic
Yeah.
Schrader's guy. All right, guys, we are about to start the mailbag. Get hashtag Steelers along with your question, or if you want to skip the line, you want that bouncer to open up that red rope for you, go ahead and super chat to guarantee that you get your question on today's show. We already have a bunch of questions lined up, ready to go here.
I think we're good.
We are good, my friend. All right, so we're going to get going here on this mailbag. Let's get into the next segment right now. Welcome in, Steelers fans. Today we are doing a Q&A mailbag here. I'm going to be answering all of your questions. These questions come from the live show that we did last Thursday. So whenever you watch this, if there's a question, if there's news that comes out, and one of these questions is irrelevant, don't blame me. All right, guys, so we got the first one coming in here from Dominic Schrader, who says, can't wait to watch Darnell Wright dominate at tackle. And I really like Darnell Wright as well, Dominic. I think he's thick, like we talked about. He is meaty, he is big, he is strong, he's really tough to bull rush. He's somebody that I think for sure can play right tackle in the National Football League. He's never played on the left side before, so I think it'll be interesting to see how he does on the left side if the Steelers decide to take him. I probably wouldn't take him at number 17 unless he tests just incredibly at the combine. I'd probably take him at 32, not 17. But hey, if the Steelers got him, I would be one happy camper. All right, guys. Next question here comes from Not Webb's World 1, and he says, any chance Pittsburgh drafts Noah Sewell? I predict a slide. I think he's probably going to slide a little bit too. Not only is linebacker kind of a lower position on like the value scale, teams usually try to go for those cornerbacks, tackles, quarterbacks, wide receivers early on in the draft. So Noah Sewell, just the position-wise, it's probably going to slide a little bit. But also there are other players that are better like physical profile players than Noah Sewell, right? Trenton Simpson, longer arms, taller, right? He's bigger. Noah Sewell is an incredible athlete. He runs incredibly fast. He plays extremely physical, but he is a bit raw when it comes to pass protection on defense. Like playing in, and then he has another super chat here, and he says, more likely to slide, Trenton Simpson or Darnell? Darnell Wright. I think Trenton Simpson for sure. Trenton Simpson is very, very raw as well. Like when I watch this film, I see a great specimen. I see someone with long arms, someone that runs really fast, somebody that's a big body, somebody that, when he really hits somebody, you can tell the player feels him. But like I just come away disappointed every single game that I watch him. Like he's just not getting it done. Like he's like a step too late in zone coverage. Like he gets manipulated super easy by quarterback eyes. Like he's not a very instinctive player right now. But the thing is with Mike Tomlin is that he really likes these physical pedigree type of guys that have long arms, guys that are physical, guys that are really good players in that regard. So I think that if he falls to maybe pick number 50, I think Mike Tomlin would actually probably consider taking him. But, people say he's the number one linebacker in this draft class. I'm not sure if I agree with that. I think he might have the highest upside, but, his tape is definitely not the best in my opinion. And then we have another question coming in here from Baron Davies, who says, do you think the Steelers can ever win a Super Bowl with Kenny Pickett as their quarterback, with all the elite quarterback talent currently in the AFC? So this is a tough question, Baron, because the AFC is loaded with great talent at the quarterback position. So you look at a guy like Kenny Pickett, who's maybe not the greatest physical specimen out there. He doesn't have the strongest arm, right? Is he really going to be able to compete against guys like Patrick Mahomes, like Joe Burrow, guys like Trevor Lawrence? I mean, these guys are just... Trevor Lawrence is still young, but he's going to be in the AFC for a very long time, right? Justin Herbert is an incredible talent as well. He's better than Tua Tagovailoa, by the way. Will Scott at Dolphins today. And then Josh Allen, another great player as well. Lamar Jackson, if he stays in Baltimore, of course you have to deal with him. And then you got the fact that Aaron Rodgers might be coming to the conference now with either the Jets or the Raiders. Those are the two top teams that he's being rumored to right now. The Raiders rumors are really getting hot. So if he comes, you have to deal with his ass. And then you got Deshaun Watson, who didn't play great last year. We saw that in the season finale. He's not a fantastic player, but he could still after a year, a full offseason with the guys, he could be pretty good as well. We know he's a superstar talent. But when it comes to Kenny Pickett, I think that although the AFC is extremely competitive right now, you got a bunch of great quarterbacks. I think if you put the right team around Kenny Pickett with Mike Tomlin's coaching ability, I think the Steelers can compete. I can't say I guarantee a Super Bowl like in the next 5 years or anything like that, but I think that the Steelers can remain extremely competitive, especially if they keep that really good defense, if they can establish the run, right? If Kenny Pickett develops from year 1 to year 2 to year 3 and keeps that progression going, I think the Steelers can be extremely competitive with guys like Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow in the division, right? I think that this is going to be a fantastic opportunity for Kenny Pickett in year 2 to show us what he's got. I really like him as a player, but let me know in the comments section right now. Can Kenny Pickett bring the Steelers to a Super Bowl at quarterback? Type HY if you say hell yes, or type HN if you say hell no. This is the pinned comment on today's video. So whenever you get an ad break here on the show, go ahead and go into the comment section, find that pinned comment, and answer today's question. For me, I'm going to say hell yes. All right, we got another question coming in from Bray, who asks, who is one player you want on the team? This might be kind of a not great answer, like not a flashy answer. I want Jacoby Brissett as the backup quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think that he's somebody that he knows Matt Canada's offense. He played for him in college, right? Canada was the coordinator at NC State when Jacoby was there. Mitchell Trubisky, he's a fine backup, but it seems to me like he doesn't really want to be in Pittsburgh right now. You can save some cap money by releasing him. You don't want to pay him over the $10 million cap hit that he's scheduled to make next year. And you can bring in a guy like Brissett, who in my opinion is better for like a $4 million contract. He's somebody that I think that if Kenny Pickett, God forbid, gets hurt, Jacoby can come in and he can get you a win. He can win you even a playoff game if the defense is really elite, right? And maybe you make some plays with Najee Harris in the playoffs, right? Jacoby Brissett is a very solid player. He's a very solid quarterback. You can win games with him. And if something happened to Kenny Pickett, I would want Jacoby. All right, Matt Hyde comes in here and he asks, which position is the most important to fill on the team? Now, this is interesting. I think that cornerback is very, very important. I think cornerback is going to be what decides really how well the Steelers do in 2023. If you don't get that position right, I think the defense is going to fall down a bit, right? But if you make the right decisions there and you lock up Cam Sutton, right? Maybe you add another piece in the draft. You get a couple, maybe Akella Witherspoon comes back and has a great year. If you get that position right, that defense is going to be unstoppable next season. And with an unstoppable defense, the Steelers can really do some damage. But left tackle is also very, very important in my eyes. But I'd say corner because in theory, you can still roll with Dan Moore Jr. and he'd be fine. All right, we got a question from Kyle Daughtry, and he asked, there was rumors about the Steelers being interested in Marcus Peters. Thoughts? I hate Marcus Peters. I don't hate him personally. I've never met the guy, but I just don't like the way that he plays. He plays super over aggressive. I mean, he used to be really, really good at avoiding pass interference penalties, but now he gets them all the time. He gets way too grabby. I think that he's getting older. He's not as fast as he once was, but he still wants to play that same aggressive brand of football that he's played with his entire career that made him a really, really good player. He's not that good of a player anymore, but he still thinks he is. I don't like that kind of hubris on the team, so I would say hold off on the Marcus Peters. I don't want him on the team. All right, guys, let's have a word from our sponsor here at BetUS, which is the sportsbook partner here at Chat Sports, and they're offering you guys a fantastic deal right before the Super Bowl here, a 125% deposit bonus on deposits of $100 to $600 if you use promo code Steelers125 at chatsports.com/bet. And there's a whole bunch of stuff that you can bet on with the Super Bowl. Not only can you bet over-under, all the normal stuff, but they have a bunch of prop bets as well that you can bet on. National Anthem by Chris Stapleton. Do you think it will be over 125 seconds or less? For me, Stapleton's someone that likes to take his time. I'm going to go with the over there. And then a wardrobe malfunction from Rihanna. I'm going to say no. Like, after what happened to Janet Jackson, I don't think the Super Bowl is ever going to let that happen again. So I'm going to go no on that, yes on the National Anthem. But you can put your bets in right now when you go to chatsports.com/bet and use promo code Steelers125 to get that 125% deposit bonus. All right, we got another question coming in here from Tom McCahill. who goes, Steelers needs lockdown cornerback. I agree with that. Offensive line, yep. Middle linebacker, yep. Defensive tackle, maybe another wide receiver or running back depth as well. So I agree with everything except the running back depth. I think they have like 3 receivers on futures contracts right now. And with Jalen Warren and Najee Harris, I think that they're perfectly good with that. I think they could use a blocking tight end. I would add that to the list. You got Freiermuth and Heyward, who are kind of smaller guys, not going to really make much of an impact in the run game. But I agree with pretty much everything you say there, man. You got to hit cornerback and offensive line early in the draft, in my opinion. Next question comes from Chronic Steeler, like that name, and he says, what are your thoughts on re-signing Zach Gentry? Now, Zach Gentry is an unrestricted free agent this year, but he has said that he wants to come back to the Steelers. And you take a look at this guy, man. He is 6'8", 265 pounds. He is a moose. He is huge, man. Like, he is a great blocker in the run game. There's a reason why that he got significant playing time last year, especially on early downs, because this guy can move and affect people in the run game. And I wouldn't be opposed to bringing him back, especially on a team-friendly deal, maybe like a $1 million to like maybe $2 million contract. You know, he could play a big role with the Steelers moving forward. He's familiar with the system. There'd be no learning curve there. I think Zach Gentry is one of those players that if you have enough money, the Steelers should absolutely consider bringing back. But let me know in the comment section what you think. Should the Steelers re-sign Zach Gentry, the tight end? Type Y if you think yes, or type N for no and you think he should walk. Next question comes from CM Punk, who asks, if the Steelers don't draft a cornerback, do you think they will try trading for an elite cornerback? Now, first of all, there's not many elite cornerbacks that are available for trade. The only one that you can really think of right now is Jalen Ramsey, who might be asking for a trade here coming up, but his contract is massive. The Steelers' defense is already loaded with expensive contracts. Alex Highsmith is expected to get an extension coming up. So I really don't see them trading for an elite cornerback. In fact, I don't really see the Steelers trading for much of anybody this offseason, if I'm being completely honest with you. All right, guys, so if you want weekly mailbag shows here on the channel here at Steelers Talk, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you know whenever we put out new videos, and then also every time we go live. All right, so reason why you want to do that is because if you know when we go live, you know when the next mailbag is, and you can get your question on the show. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel right now, turn on notifications, become a part of the Noti Gang, and join the party. All right, guys. Rad Swag, he goes on to say, do we get Addison? If so, I'm thinking we trade Highsmith and a third to the Jags for Josh Allen and a first. So you're saying Alex Highsmith and then we get a first-round pick and Josh Allen? Like, I just don't see that happening, man. Like, I think maybe a trade straight up between Highsmith and Josh Allen, but getting an additional first on top of that, I mean, Highsmith played great last year. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think that he's that valuable. That's like TJ Watt almost level of a trade package, if you ask me. Then the next question comes from Pow1908, and he says, I feel like Calvin Austin III isn't being talked about enough. How do you think he fits into the team? And it's great that you mentioned this, man. Calvin Austin III, I think, is one of those breakout candidates for the Steelers in 2023. Reason why not a lot of people talk about him right now is because he was out the entirety of 2022, got hurt in training camp, and, you know, but I think that moving into 2023, he is the presumptive slot receiver starter. I think that he's a really good player. I think he's really dynamic in his route running. I'm interested to see how the foot injury affects his foot speed, his short area quickness, because that will be extremely important for him at the next level. He is slender. He's not the best contested catch receiver, but he is a burner. He's a great route runner. He gets open a lot. So I have high hopes for Calvin Austin III in 2023. All right, guys, go ahead and follow me on Twitter here at Jack_Sperry or at SperryDog.football on Instagram. I put up a bunch of Steelers stuff on there. I put my NFL mock drafts on there. So if you want weekly NFL mock drafts, go ahead and follow me on those two as well. I put a bunch of Steelers stuff on there. Kenny Pickett film analysis. Really, if you want just additional Steelers content outside of this show, go ahead and follow me on Twitter at Jack_Sperry or on Instagram at SperryDog.football. All right, man. Jeremy, what did you think of some of those questions?
honestly, I thought that was one of the best first mailbags I've ever been a part of.
I agree. I thought there were some really thoughtful questions in there.
Great questions.
We got a Zach Gentry question in today.
I mean,
seriously, we got some true Yinzers.
We have some more questions coming in. One from Pow 1908. Loving to stream. How frequently are you guys doing the Steelers streams?
So we're doing it every week now. Every Thursday. We might be switching up the time a little bit depending on the week. Or do you think 3 o'clock is just the time?
I'm kind of liking the 3 o'clock window.
I kind of like it too. Yeah, we could probably keep it
3 Central, 4 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah, 4 o'clock Eastern. Let me know in the chat right now, guys. Is this a time that works for you guys? It definitely works for us.
Yeah,
I think it works great for our schedule.
I'm loving it.
So if you guys like this time, go ahead and let us know in the comments section.
And we have seen some Matt Canada questions for you in the chat.
Oh.
Do you care to respond to the Matt Canada slander?
I guess I will. I'm not a big fan of Canada, so why not? Let's dive into this Canada slander a little bit.
Do tell. Let me know your real thoughts on Matt Canada.
All right, do we have one of those lying down couches that you find at the therapist's office? I don't like Matt Canada. Anyone that's new to the show or anyone that's been around the show knows I'm not a big fan of Matt Canada. I think that his offense is rudimentary. I think that it's juvenile. I think that it's college level-esque. I think that there's a lot of stop routes. I think the modern NFL incorporates a lot of these crossing patterns to really accentuate yards after the catch. You don't see that a whole lot with Matt Canada, and usually when you do, it's like one crossing route and the rest are stops, and it's like, that's just not going to do it. He calls stick concepts more than just about anybody else in the National Football League. It was revealed last year, or actually this offseason, Pat Freiermuth revealed that they didn't have hot routes for Kenny Pickett this year. I've never, ever heard of an NFL offense that didn't allow the quarterback to do that. You just don't see it. You see that in college offenses where the offensive coordinator or the head coach wants to just completely take over everything, not let the quarterback do shit because they don't know anything. They're dumb kids. But these are grown men. These are NFL quarterbacks. Kenny Pickett should have been able to, give Pat Freiermuth a signal if he saw all-out blitz was coming. That didn't happen last year. And I was watching Kenny Pickett's film this past year, and I was like, okay, so he's hot here. It's all-out blitz, but there's no quick option to throw to. So is this on the quarterback?
Change the route.
Yeah. And I'm sitting there. I'm like, okay, is this on the quarterback for not seeing that he's hot? Is this on the receiver for not seeing that he's hot? Or is this on the offense?
Why are we running an 8-route or an 8-yard comeback route on an all-out blitz?
I mean,
what is going on?
Like, there would be so many third down situations where it'd be all stops, and then Deontay Johnson would run like an option route. And because Deontay Johnson is so freaking good at getting open, it worked out. Like they were one of the best third down teams in the National Football League because of Deontay Johnson's ability to get open on third down.
But zero touchdowns.
Yep, that red zone offense was terrible. It was awful.
Hey,
man.
Dominic's in the chat. What's up, Dominic?
Dominic, what's up, my guy?
I've seen you on the channel before.
Yo, love your videos. Let's go Steelers. That's right, baby. Go black and gold, right? Chugs and I actually had a discussion about this a couple of months ago, right when I took over the channel. We debated whether it's black and gold or blue or black and yellow.
All right, we're gonna settle this right now.
Yeah, we're settling this right now. Is it black and gold for the Steelers? Okay, not the Pirates, not the Penguins, not for the Steelers. Is it black and gold or is it black and yellow? I told him it's black and gold. We're currently whipping up a nice little weigh-in here for you. A nice little graphic.
All right.
All right, here we go. Which is it?
Let me get...
Before we get this graphic up, rate my shirt here on a scale of 1 to 10. Do you guys like the Franco shirt? Right. I love this shirt. It's probably my favorite shirt.
Let us know, which is it?
Yeah, which is it?
Black and yellow or black and gold?
Tell us in the...
See, I love Wiz Khalifa, so I'm always black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow,
CM
black
Punk
and yellow.
says black and gold.
You know what it
George
is.
Hoover says black and gold.
Everything
folks.
I do it big. Pittsburgh Steelers. That's
Jack
something.
Yarger says
Super
black and
Bowl
gold.
ring.
Ed Paletto says black and gold. Austin Butler says black and gold.
Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow.
Wiz Khalifa's great.
Bro, Wiz goes off.
But it's black and gold. That's what it is. I'm sorry.
Oh, God.
Wiz is great, though. I love.
I'm seeing both in there.
I see Cassie Voth is in the chat. Cassie is here. She said black and gold, and she is 100% right because she is my girlfriend, and she knows that the Steelers are black and gold.
Your hubby's been doing great today, Cassie.
Yeah, doing fantastic.
Dominic
Dominic says, yeah, George. Oh, what? George, Calvin Austin could be real deal, but he can take NFL hits. So George, I saw that comment there, Calvin Austin. He is small. He's someone that's going to be susceptible to injuries for a while, which is why I think the Steelers should consider going after like a big slot kind of guy.
Yeah.
Like in the draft or in free agency, and kind of have a different flavor of slot receiver, because you got Calvin Austin III, your burner, your great route runner, your dynamo, and you could bring in a guy like the guy I'm going to be bringing on in my mock draft here, who's a big slot receiver. He's a smooth route runner. He's a strong run blocker, and you can kind of have that versatility at slot receiver. I see that Kyla is in the chat. Hi, Kyla. Kyla from Minnesota. She's nice enough to watch my live stream. So hi, Kyla. She's coming from Minnesota. Chug, say hi to Kyla.
Hi, Kyla. What's up?
Kyla is my girlfriend's little niece. And she is so cute, and she has joined the chat. She is the best Yinzer out of anyone else in the chat, all right? I'm sorry, guys. She watches the show every day, and she is in the chat.
Does she like the video?
Yeah. Jody, make sure that Kyla likes the video and subscribes, all right? And turn on notifications, too.
Because if you do have your notifications turned on, you're going to get the alert whenever we put out the perfect Steelers offseason plan, which Sperry's going to break down for you right now. Are you ready for this, Sperry?
I'm about as ready as I'm ever going to be. I can't wait to get roasted in the comments for what I'm going to do here. But it's going to be fun, man. Let's get into this perfect Steelers offseason right now. Welcome into the show, Steeler Nation. My name is Jack Sperry, and today we're going to be breaking down my 2.0 version of the perfect Steelers offseason plan. You guys love the first edition of this kind of segment that we do on the show, so I thought I'd bring it back here, and it's going to be fantastic. But first, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Here are a couple reasons why. We have Steelers videos literally every day, Monday through Sunday. We put up at least one Steelers video a day. We do a weekly live show on Thursdays at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel for that if you want those weekly live shows. And then we try to make this as interactive as possible. We're trying to be the most interactive YouTube channel for Steelers fans out there. We do weekly mailbags. We get you involved. We do everything that we possibly can to have your voice heard on the show. And then also more subscribers equals more videos, okay? So if you subscribe to the channel, you get all your friends to subscribe to the channel. That means more money for Chat Sports, right? Chat Sports sees that, and we're like, let's send videos this direction towards the Steelers fans because this is where it's at. And then finally, it's 100% free, guys. It costs you nothing to click that subscribe button right now and that like button for that matter. So go ahead and like the video while you're at it. But we try to provide comprehensive Steelers news and rumors content for you here all season long. We try to bring it every single day. So go ahead and click that subscribe button right now. All right, so we're starting off here. According to Spotrac, it's trying to adjust for the new league salary cap. It's kind of complicated how that works, but they're projecting that the Steelers will start with just over $300,000 in cap space, which obviously isn't much, so we need to create some room. So first, let's do a restructure. The one restructure that I think will happen this offseason is Minkah Fitzpatrick. He's owed over $60 million over the next 4 years, so there's a lot of cushion there. So what I would do, I would convert $6 million of that into a signing bonus, which then adds $4.5 million in cap space for 2023, because that $6 million in that signing bonus gets distributed over the next 4 years. So you save $4.5 million of that cap space for 2023. 2023. But I just love Minkah Fitzpatrick, right? I love him. I think that it's better to kind of make a little bit more room here. You got to re-sign some players. If you're the Steelers, you got some free agents that you might want to go get. I think that restructuring Minkah now, you can always restructure him again next year as well. I think that this makes sense for the Steelers to make sure they have the best roster possible in 2023. So here are the players to give us some more room here, players that I'm cutting. William Jackson III, it's all but certain he is going to be cut. You save over $12 million in cap room by cutting him. That one's pretty easy. Then you got Chukwuma Okorafor. Saves about $10 million there if you cut him, if you make him a post-June 1st cut. That's what I'm doing here. Save $10 million there. Then you got Mitchell Trubisky. I think that if he's willing to take an extension and kind of lower that number, that cap hit number, I think that he stays on as a Steelers backup quarterback. I don't think he's going to want to do that. I think he wants to get out of Pittsburgh, so the Steelers save $8 million by cutting him. Then you got Travius Adams, did not play well this past year. You save $2.5 by cutting him. And then Olszewski, Killebrew, not great players in my opinion. You save $4 million combined between the two of them. So you save quite a bit of money if you're the Steelers. And then there's some other players that could be cut, but I'm not cutting in this scenario. I don't think they're going to get cut. Myles Jack, he is a big price tag for somebody that didn't grade all that well last season. You pay this guy a lot of money to be your linebacker one. He didn't necessarily play all that great. So you could save $11.25 million there by cutting him, but I think that they're going to want a veteran presence in that linebackers room. I still think Mike Tomlin believes in this kid, or he's not a kid anymore, he's a vet, but I think that he's a good player. I think that he can show that he's a better player than he was last year. It was the first year in a new system. He's learning the ropes. I think that he'll be back. And then Ahkello Witherspoon, a player that a lot of Steelers fans are not happy with right now because he just wasn't good in 2022. He was terrible. He was dealing with a hamstring injury throughout pretty much the entire part of it. If you know anything about hamstring injury, it really limits your speed. And Ahkello was just getting burned time after time after time when he was in the game and injured. You could save $4 million by cutting him, but he's also had some really good seasons in this league. I think that he's the type of corner Mike Tomlin likes. I think that he'll end up keeping him. Then you got Levi Wallace, a guy that I don't think particularly fits too well in the Steelers system. And you could save $4 million by cutting him. But I think the Steelers are the type of team that likes to keep their players in-house as long as possible. So unless they have to cut him, I don't think they will. And then Arthur Maulet's another guy that could go. He's kind of a smaller guy. In one-on-one coverage, he's not all that great. But, he's a dynamo, and, I think he's going to stick around and be that backup nickel, in my opinion. So with T.J. Watt on the field this past season, the Steelers' defense was excellent. So that's why I'm keeping guys like Myles Jack, Ahkello Witherspoon, Levi Wallace, because the Steelers know that they can have success with those guys on the field. Maulet's another one, too, played a lot this year. They're number 1 or number 2 in the league in defensive stats when T.J. Watt was in the game, right? Number 2 in sacks, number 1 in takeaways. They're fantastic when T.J. Watt and Alex Highsmith are wreaking havoc on the edges. Of course, Minkah Fitzpatrick, what I like to say about him is that he fucks shit up from that free safety position. He's, in my opinion, the best free safety in football, and I really think that this defense is going to be really, really good in 2023. But let me know in the comments section right now, what players should the Steelers cut this offseason, okay? It could be, you could add Myles Jack to your list. You could do whatever you want here, but go ahead, name all the players on the Steelers that you would cut for 2023 in the comments section right now. This is the pinned comment on today's video. So whenever you get an ad break here on the show, go ahead and go to the comment section, find that pinned comment, and answer today's question. So now these are the players that I think the Steelers are probably going to re-sign. I think Cam Sutton is their top priority. I don't know if $7.6 million per year is realistic, but that's what Spotrac.com currently has his market value, so I am going to take that. Then you got Terrell Edmunds, 2 years, $5.4 million per year, has great chemistry with Minkah Fitzpatrick. I think he's a good fit for this system. He's a good blitzer. I think that he comes back as well. Larry Ogunjobi, I'm going to bring back on a 1-year deal for $4 million. I think he's a great 5 technique. Well, maybe not a great 5 technique, but he is a solid player, a solid starter, and there's already some really great studs on the Steelers' defensive line. You don't need to go crazy on the defensive line if you're the Steelers. Devontae KZ, a rotational safety, really played well for the Steelers in that 3 safety package this year. I want to bring that back in 2023. Then you got Robert Spillane, Derek Watt, Zach Gentry. Gentry, a big one because he's a blocking tight end. He goes well with Pat Freiermuth, who's more of a receiving tight end. Same thing with Connor Heyward. Derek Watt, a fan favorite, bringing him back on a pretty hefty deal for a fullback, but I think it's worth it. And then Robert Spillane on a $2 million deal to make sure that that linebacker position is at least in a pretty decent spot with Miles Jack and Spillane coming back for next year. All right, guys, coming up here, I'm going to be talking a little bit more about my offseason plan, but first let's have a word from our sponsor at Athletic Greens. I drink Athletic Greens I drink AG1 by Athletic Greens literally every day. Get comprehensive and convenient daily nutrition at athleticgreens.com/chatsports. I gave AG1 a try because I wanted more sustained energy throughout my day and wanted a supplement that actually tastes great. I take AG1 in the morning, and it makes me feel ready to take on my day. AG1 combines all of your key health products in one convenient and tasty beverage. And in my line of work, guys, sometimes you have to put in those long hours. So AG1 helps me feel energized and sharp so I can be at my best no matter how busy my schedule gets. Covering my nutritional basis for the day literally couldn't be any easier, which is why I trust Athletic Greens. I just mix one small scoop of AG1 with 12 ounces of water and drink it first thing each morning. Done. Easy, simple. I also like that it costs less than $3 a day, which is definitely cheaper than the Starbucks you're drinking every single morning. It's a really effective daily habit with the highest quality sourced ingredients, which of course is a win-win for you and your health. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplemental routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/chatsports. That's athleticgreens.com/chatsports. Check it out. The link is in the description and comment section of today's video. All right, guys, let's talk a little bit about free agency. And I don't have the Steelers going ultra flashy moves here in free agency because I don't think that's the Steelers style. I don't think that's what they're going to do this offseason. But the biggest contract that I have them signing is Jacoby Brissett. 1 year, $4 million to come play as the backup quarterback to Kenny Pickett. I think that if, God forbid, something that happens to Kenny Pickett, Jacoby Brissett is the type of guy that can come in, play in Matt Canada's system, and win football games. I think Mitchell Trubisky is the type of guy that can do that as well. But A, I don't think he wants to be in Pittsburgh. And B, he's way too expensive. Jacoby Brissett, you save some money at the backup quarterback position here with that $4 million contract. Linval Joseph, somebody that's a veteran, someone that's been a run stuffer in the league for a very, very long time. I still think that he can play well. He's playing in the Super Bowl this weekend. Goes to show you as the nose tackle for the Eagles. And I would sign him to a $1.5 million contract. I think he'll be very, very affordable for the Steelers. And I think that although the Steelers will probably be looking defensive tackle in the draft, we'll get to that in my mock draft in a little bit. I think they want to add a veteran presence there in nose tackle to make sure they're solid there come opening week. And then you got Jawan James, someone that can be a rotational swing tackle. You're getting rid of Chukwuma Okorafor in this situation. You still have Dan Moore Jr., but you're probably going to be adding another offensive tackle in the draft. You want to get someone that can play either left tackle or right tackle, someone that's more of a swing tackle, backup tackle, but is solid. You can get him for $1 million. That's who I would bring in. All right, and after this, guys, the cap space is pretty solid here. You got $14.38 million. You might be asking yourself, Jack, why aren't you spending money on like a linebacker, like a TJ Edwards or a Tremaine Edmonds or maybe a David Long, right? At the end of the day, guys, the Steelers need to make some room for Alex Highsmith, who they are probably going to extend this offseason. He's expected to make upwards of $17 million per season in his new contract, and right now he's making just over $2 million. So you got to make some space there, that kind of a buffer for when that extension comes forward. Alex Highsmith is, it's not going to completely break the bank for you, right? You have a couple of 1-year contracts that's going to help you out a bit once this extension comes through. But what I would give him is, I hope it's 2 years, $17 million per season. I hope it's not too long, and I hope that it's not too much. I hope it doesn't get into that $20 million range. In my opinion, I think 17 is a pretty fair asking price. That's about in that top 15, top 10 range of edge rushers in the National Football League. I think that's about what he's worth. And what this means, guys, is that this $17 million cap hit would not apply to 2023. It would kick in at 2024. So the Steelers would have one more cheap year of Alex Highsmith, and then they would have 2 years in a row of pretty expensive Alex Highsmith. So I think this is the best deal for everybody involved. I think this is what ends up happening. But let me know in the comment section, what should the Steelers do with Alex Highsmith? Should they trade him or should they extend him? Type T if you think they should trade him, clear that extension off the books, or type E for extend if you think he should stay with the black and gold. All right, so now the moment of truth here. We've gone through everything else. We've gone through free agency. We've gone through cuts. We've gone through everything. Now it's time to build through the draft like the Steelers have been saying that they're going to do. And this is what I have them doing for the first 5 rounds of the draft. First pick, Broderick Jones, offensive tackle. He's getting a little bit slept on because he is a bit on the smaller side. And his foot quickness isn't as good as you would maybe want it to be, but he's a former 5-star athlete. He was that for a reason. He's got long arms. He is a mauler in the run game. He did not allow a sack in the 2022 season with the Georgia Bulldogs, the national champions. I think that he's going to be a very good left tackle in the National Football League. And with the Steelers, I think trying to establish the run a bit more in the future, Broderick Jones is perfect for them. That's who I have them taking if he makes it to pick 17. Then in round 2, I'm hoping that Cam Smith falls to the second round. This cornerback class is loaded, which means that a lot of these teams are going to be trying to address some of their bigger needs earlier on in the draft in the hopes that they can steal a cornerback in the later rounds. So Cam Smith, someone that's a little bit smaller, in a former mock draft, I actually said he was 6'4". He's not 6'4". When you look him up on Google, it says he's 6'4", but he's actually 6 foot, so he's a little bit undersized actually, but he's one of the best man and zone instincts cover corners in this year's draft class. Out of all the film that I watched, other than maybe Devin Witherspoon, Cam Smith probably got his hand and arm on the ball more than anybody else, and then he's also physical, man. He lays it on people. Then you got Keanu Benton, really good nose tackle of the future to work behind Linval Joseph. Drew Sanders, a blitzing extraordinaire in round 3. And then you got Xavier Hutchinson, which is the slot wide receiver that I have them taking in the 4th round to give this offense a bit of a different flavor than Calvin Austin III and have some variability on offense. And then in the 7th round, I hope I'm not being too greedy here, but I have B.J. Thompson falling to the 7th round where I have the Steelers taking him. Right now, he's not getting as much buzz as I thought he would coming out of the Shrine Bowl. I've seen some practice film of him at the Shrine Bowl where he is absolutely insane. That first step is incredible. He's a former defensive back, so he's got ball skills. He knows how to play in zone coverage, so he's going to be fantastic as that outside linebacker that occasionally comes back into coverage. I think that this guy's got the size, he's got the length. He just needs to get some refinement. He doesn't know many pass rush moves. He doesn't have an arsenal of moves. He needs to learn at that point of the position, but I think that he's an incredible athlete, an incredible prospect. If he's there in the 7th, go ahead and take him. Then I have Stetson Bennett in there, and the reason for that is the Steelers roster is getting pretty expensive coming up here, guys. Like you got TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith's extension is coming up in this scenario. You got an extremely, extremely expensive defense and roster. You don't want to be spending a ton of money at quarterback, right? You already have a rookie contract with Kenny Pickett, but then instead of paying $4 million for a premium backup like Jacoby Brissett in future years, you can get a guy like Stetson Bennett, who's somebody that's going to be a really solid pro, someone that's going to carve out a career in this league as a backup, and you can win games with, in my opinion. He's really accurate. He's great mental processor, good downfield vision. He's a good athlete. I think he's going to be a really good backup quarterback, and you pay him almost nothing, so you have even more money to go get free agents in future years. All right, guys, so in this hypothetical situation, I have Kenny Pickett, quarterback, Najee Harris, Jalen Warren at running back. You got Deontay and GP at outside wide receiver. You got 2 different flavors of slot receiver in Calvin Austin III and Xavier Hutchinson. You got Zach Gentry, the blocking tight end, and Pat Freiermuth and Connor Heyward as your receiving tight ends. You got Broderick Jones to be your new left tackle. And then you move over Dan Moore Jr. to right tackle. The rest of the offensive interior is the same. And then on defense, you bring back Alex Highsmith, that dynamic duo of Watt and Highsmith. You bring back Ogunjobi to be a solid 5 technique for you while Marvin Leal tries to move his way up the ranks. Of course, you got Cam Heyward. Should have been an all-pro this year. Fantastic player. Then you got Linval Joseph and Keanu Benton as those 1 techniques, see who wins in camp. And then you got Miles Jack, Spillane. You drafted Drew Sanders. Hopefully that Mark Robinson can move up the ranks there as well. And then at cornerback, you got Cam Smith to go along with Akella Witherspoon and Levi Wallace on the outside. Whoever the 2 best players there in camp win those jobs. And then you got Cam Sutton in the slot. He can also play outside if you need him to. And you still got Arthur Maulet that can be a backup nickel if you need to kick Cam Sutton outside. And then you got Minkah Fitzpatrick, Terrell Edmonds, and you still have Devontae KZ to formulate that 3 safety package that had so much success in 2022. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this off-season plan. Go ahead and grade it for me in the comments section. A, B, C, D, or F. I think that with this roster, the Steelers can not only compete for an AFC North title with teams like the Bengals and the Ravens, I think that they can compete in the AFC playoffs. I think they can. I think they could beat anybody on any given day with this roster. Lots of great players. I think the defense is going to be fantastic. Hopefully, Kenny Pickett progresses from year 1 to year 2. I think this would be a fantastic fit. So go ahead and put your grade of my offseason plan in the comment section. All right. So what do you think of my offseason plan there, Chugsy?
I don't hate it. For me, I think you're a little frugal. In free agency, that's the one part where I can't give you an A because I think it's a little frugal.
That's fair.
I like the more all-in strategy of getting some really good dudes in free agency. I get that you've already kind of made some splashy moves in the past couple seasons with getting Minkah, extending TJ Watt. Alex Highsmith, as you mentioned, needs a new deal.
Yep.
Signed Larry Ogunjobi last year, a pretty good defensive lineman. I would go out and maybe try to get one more guy, a flashier guy in free agency.
That's fair.
So I'm going to give you not a plus, not a minus, just a straight up B.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. The thing is that what's going to be interesting is that Omar Khan, the new GM for the Steelers, this is his first offseason as the full GM of the Steelers. He was very aggressive at the trade deadline. 2 massive trades at the trade deadline. So is he going? I mean, you look at Kevin Colbert, the old GM. He was as boring as toast, dry toast.
You traded Chase Claypool for a first-round pick essentially.
Yeah, it's essentially, yeah. I mean, 32 is usually a first-round pick. In most years, that'd be a first-round pick. But, Khan is someone that strikes me as a bit more analytical. He's integrating those saber metrics more than Kevin Colbert did. And I think that he might be a bit more aggressive. We'll see. The Steelers have been very frugal in the past. That's kind of Mike Tomlin's style. So this was kind of more of a predictive kind of offseason plan. Perhaps my next one, I'm going to be super aggressive. Go and get like Deron Payne or something. But I wanted to give you guys kind of a realistic outlook of what the Steelers might look like.
Let me give some shout outs to the comment section.
Yeah, let's do that.
Rad Swag says B. Lincoln Seibel says B. Tristan Flynn, B-. Mr. Banana Man says A. He's loving it.
Yeah, Janan Marshra gave me an A. Thank you, Janan.
Theodore Rastucci says B. Matt Hyde gives you a B. Morellis Hines, B+. Tom McCahill, B. You got another A from, you just read that, Janan.
I see Powell gave me an A- because I didn't get an inside linebacker. Drew Sanders is an inside linebacker.
Yeah.
I did get an inside linebacker. Maybe he won't be able to start next year because he is a bit raw.
Would have loved a Dalen Hayes.
But, I mean, you look at the future there in my plan. You got Drew Sanders, 6'5", monster, along with Mark Robinson.
Strict fit. I want Chase Young. A lot of teams do.
Yeah, a lot of teams do. I heard a rumor today that Washington is not going to pick up his 5th-year option because of the injuries.
Yeah.
So that is kind of interesting.
He was touted as like the next... He was like the third pseudo Bosa brother.
Yeah.
Is what he was kind of touted as.
Well, he was touted as better than those guys. Mel Kiper said he was the best edge rusher to come out since Myles Garrett.
That has not been true so far.
He's been hurt. I mean, even when he's been playing, he hasn't been like Garrett level.
Even when he's playing, the Bosa brothers have both been leaps and bounds better than him, and they've both had their injuries. They've been way better in the time that they've played.
Yeah, way better. They stay healthy. I mean, Bosa, they both had a season-ending injury, but I mean, Nick Bosa, oh my Lord. He might be the best defensive player in the league right now, including Aaron Donald. And I don't say that lightly because I think Aaron Donald might be the best defensive player ever. That's crazy.
I don't know. I would say J.J. Watt had a better 3-year span than Aaron Donald. That's just me being from Houston.
J.J. Watt in his prime might be. Lawrence Taylor, though.
If you could give me 3 years in their prime, either J.J. Watt's prime or Aaron Donald's prime, I think I'm going They would triple team J.J. Watt.
Let me know in the comments section who you would take. Aaron Donald in his prime or J.J. Watt in his prime?
I'm going J.J. Dude,
I would go Aaron.
If you watched J.J. Watt in his prime, literally, no one could stop him. He had back-to-back 20-sack seasons.
He did.
Two back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year honors.
Donald did that too.
But I think JJ's more versatile. I think, obviously it's...
He is great. I mean, you're splitting hairs
at
here.
this level, you're splitting hairs. They're both first ballot Hall of Famers 100%. I'm just watching JJ in his prime was just something else. Like, he was insane. Like, I remember Zach Mettenberger had nightmares about this guy whenever he was the quarterback for Tennessee. I remember he had a three-sack game against Zach Mettenberger, and he was seeing stars.
What college Zach, whatever his name is, what college did he go to?
Will Scott's alma mater.
Oh, LSU, that's right. I remember that. Yeah, Will Scott's alma mater. Will went to Syracuse, by the way.
Oh, God. But, hey, I just have to say, kind of wrapping things up here, this has been an amazing, amazing first show.
I think so, too.
And we're going to be back next week doing the same thing.
Yeah, make sure to subscribe. Turn on those notifications, all right? Get on Noti Gang next week, all right? This next week, the 5 videos before next week's live show, if you're the first comment on those videos, we will put you on Noti Gang next week, and you will get a shout-out, all right?
Let's go.
So you sure you don't want to wear that Terry Bradshaw cap a little longer, man?
It's a little tight on my forehead.
I can tell. It looks very
cut off circulation a little bit.
It's a little itchy too. I wore it for a video a couple months back. It's itchy after a while.
Okay, wait. Rad Swag says 1 more minute. Answer my last question.
Okay.
Is it about? Are you talking about the Okay. Pickett wants Addison. We all do. Also, what do we get? What do we do to get him? Trade Deontay and multiple for a Titans pick on draft night? Would you do that? Would you trade Deontay and multiple picks? Or I guess, would you trade Deontay to kind of move up with the Titans?
So essentially, trade Deontay for a first rounder and draft Addison in the first round.
Yes. But the only thing about that is it's really scary when you're trading a player that's proven for what might be. We saw that blow up in the Titans' face whenever they traded A.J. Brown for Treylon Burks.
And, I mean, a lot of Steelers fans don't realize how important Deontay Johnson was to the team down the stretch. The reason why the team was so good on third down was because they relied on Deontay Johnson on option routes to just get open against man coverage. And he did that better than just about anybody in the National Football League. The other thing I'll add is that Jordan Addison is, my comp for Jordan is Deontay Johnson. They are the same height. Well, no, they're not. Jordan's a little bit taller, but they're both kind of slender guys. They're both extremely quick out of their breaks. They're great route runners, but they're not great at the catch point.
Yeah.
Right? If it's contested, they're likely not. They're not like a George Pickens where they come down with everything. They need to be open, and they get open a lot. But it's like I'm almost feeling like you're trading a pick and you're drafting the same guy. Now you're getting a lower contract. DJ's contract is obviously not great. I think it's $16 million cap hit this year. But, I don't think I would do that deal, and I don't think that the Steelers would do that deal. I think the Steelers absolutely love Deontay Johnson. I know a lot of Steelers fans want him gone, but at the end of the day, guys, he was ranked in the top 5 in ESPN analytics as top 5 receiver in the league last year. Yeah. Like, you need to target Pat Freiermuth and George Pickens more often in the red zone, in my opinion. He didn't do enough of that this past year. And, of course, DJ didn't get a single touchdown catch. He smashed the record for most catches without a touchdown catch. But, he's a good player. He's a really good player. He's extremely valuable to this system. I can't stress that enough. If you're keeping Matt Canada as your offensive coordinator, you need Deontay Johnson on your team to win on third downs. You just need him.
All right. I want to say thank you for everybody watching. Great first Steelers Live. Yeah. We'll be back next week. Sperry, any last words?
I just appreciate all the true Yinzers that made it from beginning to end. If you made it from beginning to end, go ahead, go in the chat right now and put real one. All right, real quick before we end it. I really appreciate Jeremy Chuggs for being a good sport wearing the Terry Bradshaw bald cap. I really appreciate him and you guys for stopping by today. That's going to do it for today's show, guys. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.